Hello, YouTubers. Hello, world. This video is about deep thinking, and I had just wanted to share with you guys something that has motivated me and has kept me going, and it's pretty cliche and pretty well stated and understood if you're someone who is very spiritual, or you go to church, or you listen to videos about self-love and motivation and just like stuff like that. um if you are someone who listens to stuff like that, then this is not new to you. But for people who are in search of a role model, this is for you. Because I think as a woman and as a person, really, I feel like we're always looking for people to inspire us, encourage us, people that we want to be like. And sometimes I just know that I've always looked up to certain people in my life, be it women in my family that I was inspired by, or motivated by, beautiful, independent, well-educated, successful Black women who somewhat looked like me, or someone that I could relate to, or I saw a little bit of myself in them, and they were in a place of power or a place of success. I would look up to them and use that use their vision to continue to motivate me. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. Some of those women include my mom, my aunts, my grandmother, friends of the family, just empowering Black women that served as positive role models in my life. In addition to those personal role models, there's also celebrities who are often emulated in today's society. A role model of mine just so happened to be Beyonce. More recently, Rihanna, for particular reasons. I don't necessarily admire every aspect of these women, because nobody's perfect and everybody makes mistakes, and so I can't necessarily admire or follow everything that they do. Should I say, if I'm looking for a role model, I can't follow everything that they do, but there are definitely qualities to these women that I admire and hone in on and take under my wing as something that I want to be able to do for whatever. So Beyonce, for her dedication to her craft and her independence and her success in her craft. Not necessarily some of the minor discrepancies with what she does, because some people might find some of the lyrics to her songs that she may or may not write, and I say that to give her some leeway as far as people ridiculing her or downplaying her talent because of some of the lyrics of her songs. There are always writers who help aid in those songs, and she's a singer. She sings. I believe she's a writer as well, but when you just have a passion for singing, you just sing, and I get that. I grasp that concept. But be it the lyrics of her songs, or be it the way that she dresses when she's on stage, there are certain qualities or certain things that she does that I can't necessarily idolize, but I understand that that's what comes with that level of success. That's what comes with that craft. That's what comes with trying to be sellable and making yourself a brand, I think. Anyways, that Rihanna I admire for her not caring about what other people think of her, and just her ability to say what's on her mind and speak the truth, and not tiptoeing or feeling bad, or just she says what she needs to say with very little remorse. And I don't know if that's an admirable trait, but I admire it. And it might be weird, I don't know. But anyways, my point is, there are a plethora of women that I look up to and aspire to be like, be it women in my real life who I see on an everyday basis and celebrate on my own terms, or be it celebrities who are widely celebrated amongst everyone. There are always people to admire and look up to. And in looking for a role model or looking for someone to emulate, some people emulate Aaliyah, some people have Marilyn Monroe. I've heard many different things. And sometimes I come into certain points in my life, situations, circumstances, where I may stop and think, like, at one point, I used to stop and think, what would Rihanna do in this situation? What do I think Beyonce would do in this situation? What would my Aunt Kathy do in this situation? Or, and I would think about what they would do, and sometimes I would do what I thought they would do because those were people I wanted to be like. And in doing that, it never really worked out for me. I felt like I wasn't always being myself. I felt like I wasn't always being true to myself. I felt like sometimes I liked the results of my actions and sometimes I didn't. And I was like, then I recently started thinking constantly, I'm always thinking this now, what would Jesus do in this situation? I mean, in retrospect, if you are a Christian, a heavy Christian, or even a light Christian, because I wouldn't call myself a heavy Christian. I don't go to church every day. I don't necessarily read the Bible on a daily basis. I don't, I try to pray every day. I try to say grace and say my prayers every day. But, sometimes I forget, or everybody makes mistakes. I'm not perfect. But anyways, if you do have a history or a background in going to church and you have come into contact with this quote that I'm about to give to you, it's not necessarily a word for word quote, but just kind of like a synopsis of what I got based off of the Bible and my teachings, is that the only person that we should be trying to aspire to be in this life is Jesus Christ. That's the only person that we were told to look up to and admire. And, that's the direction that we should be going. And I'm like, well, if that's the case, why not just start asking myself, what would Jesus do in these different situations? And anytime I'm at work, or anytime that I'm in a complicated or difficult situation, or anytime, something comes up where it's my turn to react, and I can either have a positive reaction or a negative reaction, and that can make all the difference in how everything goes. I stop and I've started to think, what would Jesus do in this situation? And usually whatever that answer is, I go with that. And I mean, it's just really worked out for me, and I have never been more happy and more grateful and just in my life. I am so happy and so grateful. And the crazy thing is, I don't think that it does have things to do with my circumstances and my situations and the blessings that have been bestowed upon me. But even prior to receiving those blessings, there is a certain level of gratitude when you actually start living for other people. When you start living with the idea of, what is God's purpose for me? Why am I here? You know what I mean? I mean, that's the real question. That's the question that we all ask ourselves is, why am I here? What do you want me to do for this world? Like, what is my purpose here? And I mean, we all come from different backgrounds. We all have different races, sometimes different religions, different beliefs, different hair textures, different facial features, and all these things kind of, unfortunately, we live in a fairly shallow world where these things can make or break our reality and how we live. If you're going through your ugly duckling phase, you may not necessarily get all the attention. You may be accustomed to being the unattractive friend. And I've totally been there. Sometimes I'm still the unattractive friend, and I am perfectly okay with that role. That is something that I had to learn to be completely grateful for. Because I can make a whole other video about being the ugly friend and how dope it is to be the ugly friend, and how dope it is to not necessarily be the most attractive, and how dope it is to sometimes just sit in the background and not be the center of attention. Sometimes it's really cool to just, chill. Just chill, okay? It's a long story, but anyways, I say all that to say that you start to look at your life, everything that you have, and just be grateful, because how awesome is our God that you have a roof over your head, or you're still breathing, and you have a mind of your own, and you can think, and you have a voice, and you're healthy. I mean, just everything that I used to complain about, I became so much more grateful for. I used to complain about my size and my weight and how I looked and my hair. I used to complain about all these things about my physical appearance. And then I was like, you know what? I could have cancer and I could be bald. So you know what? Even though my hair may be a little kinky or a little nappy, thank you, Jesus, that I have hair, because I could be going through some things right now and I'm not. I'm completely healthy and I'm living a full life and I'm breathing and I can still communicate with people and I have so much to be thankful for. Why would I even complain about how nappy my hair is? Or I used to complain about how skinny I was because I didn't have much of a butt. I don't have necessarily big boobs. And I mean, I wanted the attention that all the girls with those features were getting. And I was like, ugh, why can't I just have... And it was like, you know what, D? I mean, you have all your limbs. You have arms. You got legs. You can walk. You know what I mean? And as far as weight is concerned, there are women who battle with health issues and weight problems their entire lives. And you're sitting here complaining that you don't get enough male attention because this isn't big enough and that isn't big enough. At the end of the day, what is male attention? Like, why do I necessarily need it? It's really not that serious. It's really not all it's cracked up to be. Male attention can take the back seat. For real. Like, I'm good. But anyways, bringing it back home. I say all that to say that once I started living a more acceptable, like, once I started accepting myself more for who I am, once I started being grateful for the things that I was blessed with and not necessarily always looking at what somebody else has and wanting it. Once I started saying thank you, Jesus, for what you've provided me, because for whatever reason, it was necessary for me to have what I have. You know what I mean? So whatever purpose you put for me here on this earth, whatever message I'm supposed to deliver to the world for you, I'm like, use me as your tunnel. Like, just use me, because that's what I'm here for. You provided me with the ability to live on this earth. However you see fit, use me. And the way that I look, my hair texture, my skin complexion, my bust size, my hip size, my butt size, all those things, you made it perfectly so that I can do whatever it was that I needed to do to deliver your message. So at the end of the day, I might make a skinny girl happy one day. A skinny girl might look at me the same way that I admire all these women of celebritism, Beyonce and or Rihanna. A girl could look at me and be like, oh my gosh, Dee is skinny and she's gorgeous and successful and this and that, and they could admire me and feel better about themselves at one point. So I don't know why God blessed me with this particular stature. So I can't diminish or ridicule or call myself unpretty when I am in fact his creation and he has a purpose for making me the way that he made me. It's how ungrateful can you get? I don't know. So anyways, self-love topics coming about. It's just getting crazy in here. You feel the love. But I say all this to say that if you ever need a role model, if you ever come to a point in your life where you're like, I want to be like I want to wear my hair like this, and I want to put on my makeup like that, and I want to wear these kind of clothes because this is what so-and-so wears, take a step back, take a minute, reflect on your life, and just think, what would Jesus do? Like, how would Jesus handle these different situations, or how would Jesus walk on this earth, and how can I look more and more like him? Because that's who we're really supposed to be aspiring to look like and be like and talk like and just have a swag like, I don't know, Jesus has the ultimate swag. Come on now. Come on. Who got more swag than Jesus? Nobody. So anyways, I guess God, I don't know. Who got more swag than Jesus? I told you I don't read the Bible as often as I should. See, that's when it gets shaky, because you're like, do you really know what you're talking about? I don't know. I gotta read up on my stuff. But yeah, that's it. That's the end. I just wanted to share that. I don't know. Bye.